Hey everyone, Peta Party. Today we're going to be going over the two quote-unquote holy grails of English Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. So for the purposes of this video, we'll be going over first edition PSA 10 LLB Wavy Blue Eyes White Dragon and PSA 10 Shonen Jump Cyber-Stein. So I'm talking about these two cards in particular because LLB is the first Yu-Gi-Oh booster set. It's comparable to your Alpha Beta Magic and your first edition base Pokemon, and the big cover card that everyone always chases and goes after is Blue Eyes Red Dragon. So comparable to your Charizard, your Black Lotus, that's what we're dealing with. With the Shonen Jump Cyber-Stein, it's the first prize card that was given out at the Shonen Jump championships. There were only about 120, maybe 130 copies, depending on who you ask, that were actually made and given out. We're not getting into extras if some Konami employee sitting on another, stack of 500 of them or anything like that. I get into that foolishness today. So the thing with Cyber-Stein compared to Blue Eyes is while it wasn't, the super iconic card that was used in the TV show, it was the first English prize card from the Shonen Jump Championships, and it was a super iconic card that ended up getting banned almost immediately upon being released. So you're trying to compare Cyber-Stein to something in Pokemon. For my purposes, I like to compare it to the Trophy Kangaskhan prize card. They have similar print quantities. Low hundreds for Kangaskhan is what it was estimated at. Cyber-Stein, you're looking at 120, 130. So the print quantity in existence, copies actually physically made are similar. Both of them are super iconic cards. I remember as a kid seeing the Cyber-Stein plastered on, your Beckett magazines, talking about price guides and, hyping up things and stuff like that. So with Trophy Kangaskhan, if you talk to anyone like SM Pratt, or any of those guys who've been around in the hobby for a very long time, they have the same visceral feeling when it comes to that, Trophy Kangaskhan card. And I like using Trophy Kangaskhan as comparison when it comes to Cyber-Stein because, like I said, A, similar print quantities. B, you also have the iconic nature of the cards themselves. Nothing that was super used in anime or anything like that. You're not talking about the main protagonist ace monster or the main antagonist's head honcho monster. I'm not getting into that. It's just a super iconic card from the people who were in the hobby when it came out. So one thing people need to realize with cards like that is just because they've been traditionally for the last few years price X doesn't mean they won't go up to price Y. So you really need to take into account with something like that that's in such a limited availability that as these cards get bought up by collectors like myself or Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube or Vintage Yu-Gi-Oh! Or someone like that, when they enter their collection, they're not going to be coming up for sale again. So while there's 120 copies of the card made, you're probably looking at 20, maybe 30 copies that were destroyed. There was that one that was on eBay back in January that was put through a lamination machine, so that's still in existence, but looks like absolute crap. It looks like a Chinese knockoff, to be honest with you, unfortunately. So going through pure attrition of those cards, you're not going to have a whole lot of them still physically existing on the planet. So you're looking at, say, maybe 90 to 100 copies left. Out of that, as they're bought up by these collectors that want to hold them in their collection long term, they come off the market. So that, 90 to 100 copies all of a sudden gets brought down to 80, 75, 70, and the number of possible copies that could be potentially sold at any given time keeps creeping down lower, 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 lower. And as that quantity of a possibly available cards, you're not even talking about cards that are currently for sale, as that population of cards that might potentially come up for sale sometime in the next couple of years keeps dwindling down, it's going to drive the price up. And unfortunately, for people who don't like to talk about it or minute, you also have your collector investors who are getting into the hobby now, who see the potential of something like Cyber-Stein, and they have 4, 5, 6 copies, and they're not planning on selling anytime soon, which is also going to be driving the price up and keep moving it up higher and higher as well. So just some food for thought for when it comes to Blue Eyes and Cyber-Stein. You need anything, hit me up, and have a good one.